Hi guys, in this video I'm going to share how I created this piece in a step-by-step process using budget-friendly supplies that I will link in the description box below for you to check out and share some tips if you're just starting on your urban sketch journey. So let's start!
So first things first, I'm just getting some water in a paper cup today and soaking my really cheap watercolor paper with water because it doesn't hold water for very long and dries up pretty fast. So here's the reference that I'll be using today as my inspiration, and there we go. The first step is to think of shapes. As you know from my previous video, I always like to start out with a sketch using a pencil or a pen, but this time I'm starting out with some watercolor. I'm mixing my first washes. One is brown mixed with a little bit of yellow, and then the other one is reddish brown, and both are quite watered down because they're the first layer and they're just washes. So remember how my paper is all soaked up? I'm just using a very wet paper right now and putting my washes right on top, creating shapes using my watercolor. So if you're a beginner, remember that shapes are a very important part of urban sketching because that is what's going to make your sketch unique. And of course, give it character. So because I'm starting out with watercolor and not a pencil sketch, I am using very light watered down paint that I'm going to build up as I paint. Now that I have some kind of color blocking down, I am using some ink. Well, I started to use Microns, but they kind of gave out on me. So I used my fountain pen, and I am using the back of the tip because I find that just gives it a really nice thin look. Or you could use the front too, but that's just a little bit thicker. But here's another tip: you could use the back of your fountain pen to give it a really nice loose effect for your sketch. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just drawing the structure around and adding details with my fountain pen. It is not waterproof, and I will link in the description box below the detail about that pen and all the supplies that I'm using. So I guess my tip number 2 would be, if you're a beginner, to start thinking about your colors. In this scenario, I kind of am matching the reference photo colors, but you could totally do something different like I have done sometimes in the past. You could be funky and use something. Purples or oranges are my favorite to use sometimes, but in this scenario I'm trying to stay close to the reference. But I will be making some creative choices and adding things that are not in the picture. And I think that's what's unique about urban sketches, is that you can add your own touch to it, and that's what makes it unique and fun. So definitely think of color as a tool that you can use to give whatever feel you want to give to your urban sketch at the end. So at this point, I am using a few techniques to add more texture to my building. I am using more paint than water to add those bricks, and dragging my brush across the rooftop to add more texture. So if you're a beginner, know that you can use your tools like brush or pens in a different way to add more fun to your sketches. At this point, I was not really liking how my drawing was looking because I thought it looked more stiff, and I really like some loose urban sketching style. So I used my fountain pen to go over some of the details and add more texture to the side of the buildings, to the windows, because they were looking a little bit too stiff and too perfect, and I don't like that as a style. So I am just adding some wobbly lines. And I guess that leads me to my next tip, is you can use lines as characters for your sketch. The looser you go, the more fun it looks, in my personal opinion. So definitely play around with the weight of your lines. Remember how I was talking about taking the creative liberty and making some choices and decisions? So here it is, one of the decisions that I made. I love adding cobblestones to my building and my sketches. So here I am using my fountain pen. I am adding some cobblestones and I love it when they're all crooked and not perfect. I decided to use these watercolor brush pens to add more detail to my drawing. I am going to put a link down below in the description for something that's similar to it, and it's easily found on Amazon if that's an option for you. What I really like about them is how you can build up these beautiful gradients with them. So what I do is I wet the paper and then I use these pens on top of the wet spot, and then it just melts into the paper, and look how beautifully it builds up. So I'm wetting the paper and then I'm just going over it with the pen. It's one of my favorite things to do with them. So my next tip would definitely be play around with different types of mediums. You don't have to stick with just watercolor or just pencil colors. Make this a part of your journey. Explore different mediums and explore how you like sketching with them. So at this point, I made a creative decision of making this a night scene. I know the reference photo was not a night scene, but I took the creative liberty of putting this into a night scene because, why not? I took that risk and I was like, let's see what happens. I had to make some decisions for the background, and I really didn't want to go with the usual, putting lots of trees in the back or anything like that. So I am using my favorite color, this color in my palette. It's a blue-gray type of a color. It's just one of my favorites in the palette. So that's what I'm using, and I'm just going around the sketch and putting that out there and really pushing those values of the colors to bring them into a night scene, because obviously they were quite light for a daytime. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I am using those brush pens to really push those lights outside of the window because it is going to be a night scene. And I'm also using them to add a lamppost that's obviously not in the reference photo, but this is purely me pushing my creative limits and thinking outside the box. So my next tip for you would be, if you're a beginner, to add something that's not in the reference photo and make it look like it's part of your sketch. Honestly, it's just so much fun. I am using the fountain pen to add more depth to my letters because they were getting lost in there somewhere. So here it is, all done. If you found this video helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, do check out the description box below. I'm going to link more videos there for you guys to check out regarding urban sketch and urban sketch tips. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!